there's a lot of people that are out there that they just hate what I do. Or they hate the videos I do. In fact, I just got a dislike on my video for saying to bring back asylums because there's a lot of mentally ill people roaming the streets and they're in the public and they're harming people. And a lot of crimes can be prevented, but people are not taking the proper steps to avoid these things. When I sit there and say things such as we should be putting down violent criminals, I get dislikes and I get hate and all of this extra stuff. And a lot of people think that I only attack one community, like I'm not an equal opportunity enjoyer when it comes down to calling out bullshit when it's bullshit. As I said, I am a man with common sense trying to bring common sense where common sense isn't so common. I would love to cover a story of a trans person doing something good like protecting kids from somebody who's trying to harm them and returning them to their parents and walking off into the fucking sunset instead of hearing a story about some fucking trans person who's a pedophile chasing after kids. I would love to cover story of women doing amazing fucking things. I would love to cover stories of black men, black fathers going to their kids' school and being a part of a child's life, which there was a story like that, and I did cover it, and it only got one fucking view, but I did cover it in the past of fathers going and being a part of children's life and going to PTA meetings and all of this shit and coming together and actually making change in in those children's lives. But let's look at this. Let's look at this video, shall we? Because I'm gonna cover it, so let's cover this video.
Is beyond disturbing, and it was an emotional day in court. Now, one of the saddest details I learned today is that Mahogany Jackson came to the first location thinking these people were her friends. Investigators say they then tortured her, and the things that were described are why Judge Keisha Davis says she denied all of these suspects a bond. Now, Birmingham Police Homicide Detective Mark Green says the first stop was the home of suspect Brandon Pope. Now, that's where Jackson was beaten outside while she was naked. Officers say some of the suspects beat her while others recorded the beatings. Now, Jackson was stomped and kicked, and then prosecutors say one of the suspects can be heard saying, "Put her in the trunk," and then she was dragged naked in the street. Now, Jackson was taken to a second location, and I want to warn you, this will be hard to hear. Prosecutors say Jackson was sexually assaulted at gunpoint. Officials say she was handcuffed, beaten, pistol whipped, and then spat on. Now, Jackson's family, including her mother, were present in court today, and as they read out the evidence, you could hear them getting very emotional. DA Danny Carr says, though, this will be a long road to get justice for Mahogany, and he also explains why only 5 out of the 8 suspects were present today for the Anais Law hearing.
Why does it have to be a long road? Why does it have to be a long road? The stupid motherfuckers recorded it. You know, this is wild to me. And the reason why this is wild to me is because it reminds me of shades of the Hello Kitty murder. Go check that out when you get the chance, right? I tell people all the time, our criminals can be just as violent as other criminals, but there are levels to this shit, right? And it can get much worse than hearing a story like this. This story is tragic. This story, mind you, before anyone sits there and goes, "Oh, well, who are the people in question?" Well, it's the usual suspects. Yeah, real nice. Real nice. This is one of the reasons, let me spit this shit out. This is one of the reasons why whenever I get into it with black people, especially altercations, physical altercations, like I got into it recently, and they'll try to fucking sit there, talk about, we black, we supposed to stick up for each other. And I go, yeah, motherfucker, Wakanda forever, you stupid nigga. This is the reason why I tell people, yes, just because they're skin folk, they're not fucking kinfolk. To drag a woman butt naked, stomp on her, spit on her, sexually assault her, and it gets worse. And you think that they're not going to do these things to you based on your skin. Like you have an allegiance based on fucking skin. A monster is a monster in any form that it comes in.
The individuals that are charged with capital murder, obviously, the law The statute and the rules of criminal procedure says that their bond can be set at a no bond automatically. The individuals that are charged with felony murder, the statute requires a hearing. The next step, obviously, is there'll be further investigation with Birmingham Police Department.
Yeah, another sad thing we learned today was that the suspects wanted the password to Mahogany Jackson's phone. Officials say they even told her if she gave it to them, they would let her go, only to kill her anyway. Now, live at 5, you'll hear what District Attorney Danny Carr says he told the family today. Morgan is beyond.
That's fucking terrifying. An Alabama mother tortured and forced to perform sex acts on 4 men and 4 women before being executed by a gunshot wound in the head. Oh, there you go. All of that shit that you see. And on both sides. You're assaulted on both fucking sides. On both sides. You are assaulted on both sides. You think that being politically correct or being a woman is going to protect you? Or you think that, oh, as long as I attack the other sex at the end of the day and I get rid of all of these toxic males who probably would sit there and stop some shit. Good Samaritans back in the day would see some shit like this going down and step in and all of that. Now you have the men who would have protected you, probably afraid to do anything. So they're minding their fucking business when they see shit like this now. Look, I'm sorry. This is just wild to me. A gunshot wound to the head, death penalty, all of them. You know what, Colin Rugg? I absolutely fucking agree. I say this. The ones who were not directly involved in the murder, they serve 10 years minimum. And that's if they don't snitch. You better tell me every fucking thing. Just that simple. Mahogany Jackson was shot in the back of the head at a Birmingham apartment. Jackson was handcuffed, stripped, beaten, and forced to perform sex acts at gunpoint before being executed. At 8 a.m. on February 25th, Jackson texted family members that she was being held hostage. She was killed soon after, and her body was later dumped at an illegal dump site called Dead Man's Road. Video footage showed Jackson being stomped on and spit on before getting dragged by her hair naked towards a car trunk. She was then tortured, which was filmed by the judge. Jackson was forced to perform oral sex. Giovanni Clapp, Blair Green, T.J. Lewis, Cynthia McCall, and Ariana Robinson were charged with felony murder, first-degree kidnapping, and first-degree sodomy. This is sad, and this is disgusting. Protect your family and the ones that you know are your friends. Fuck everybody else. You can be a decent person, but you ain't gotta be a sucker. This girl thought that these people were her fucking friends. And look at how friends do you.